Sonic the Hedgehog keeps killing me. P5 Markov. I accidentally made lasagna on my dishwasher. No sex scene. Bad experience. Full of bugs. Hollow Knight is a Souls-like Metroidvania with tight gameplay, dynamic environments, unforgettable music, and deep lore that stimulates endless online discussion. So it's no surprise that a game like this has gained well over 250,000 positive reviews since its release in 2017. But not everyone thinks this game is worth your money. The game is excellent, but the gameplay just isn't fun. None of the areas are wheelchair accessible. I read every single negative review to determine if they had any merit. Wasted hours only to find out that I soft locked on a 3-year-old bug. This is the game that made me realize I really don't like Metroidvanias, or were a bunch of troll posts looking for attention. My wife left me because I played this game too much. Doesn't have banana. Game is easier than Roblox. Tears. Having just completed my first playthrough of the game, I decided now would be the ideal time for me to leave my own review. So let's see what kind of review I should leave. I want to leave a positive review because it's a beautiful game, but there's no way I would actually recommend this to people who have similar taste to me. I don't find wandering blindly and excessive backtracking to be an enjoyable experience. Probably not a big fan of Metroidvania. I can absolutely see the love and effort that was put into this game, but as much as certain people may want to convince you otherwise, it's just definitely not for everyone. It really isn't. This game is very difficult, and if you try to force yourself to love it and try to force yourself into it, you're gonna have an awful time. Primal Aspids. Yeah, those are kind of bullshit. I want to like this game, but I just don't have fun playing this. Get why people like it, but I just don't like it. Valid. None of the areas are wheelchair accessible. Valid. I'd love to recommend this game, however, there are several issues with the game that make this a don't buy currently. I would strongly advise waiting until the developers had time to address some of the more critical issues that I'll bring up later in my review. It should be noted that this review was posted shortly after release. I'm assuming the bugs that they're going to talk about are fixed. Random freezing, clunky controls, trivial puzzles. Top it off, some of the areas you gain access to are not worth the time invested in. Really? A geode for all of that? Yeah, you know, I do think there are some areas that are a little too difficult for the reward output that you get. This game would be the best game of all time without the White Palace. With it, it's a 1 out of 10. Don't play. It's trash. I want to like Hollow Knight, but I can't. Aesthetically, musically, it's on point. The combat is nothing to sneeze at too, with some fine bosses. The polish in Hollow Knight is absolutely incredible for an indie game at this price point. But so damn much of this game bogs down in the traveling. You know, I can agree with parts of this. There is a lot of slogging, and especially when you finally get enough money to go like get a new charm, or you finally get all the pale ore you need to upgrade your sword, it could take quite a while to get back to where you need to go, and there's not a lot of convenient paths for it. I spent a lot of time just looking at my map going like, okay, how do I get there? It could be a little bit of a chore. Is the chore worth it? Yeah, I would say so, but I can understand what this person's saying. Markov, 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 Markov. Valid. Can't sex the bug. Which one? Which one do you want to sex? Explain it to me. Which one? Yeah, no. Actually, I need to read this review properly. Yeah, no. It's a long review. Holy crap. Wow. Holy crap. Oh my god. Hollow Knight never gives you coasting time after a boss. The entire game is like walking up a cliff. You finish a boss, a great feeling, but the game is immediately in your face going back to work. I can agree with that. Hollow Knight is pretty much like, here's your ability, now get back to the gameplay. Oh, and it's gonna be hard. Hollow Knight left a sort of bitter taste in my mouth. It felt like a chore, not a game. I pushed myself to complete it under the impression that it would eventually level out and let me coast for a while. But unfortunately, the game decided that it would not offer that. I'm not saying make it easy. I'm saying let me see the top of the plateau. The ending felt downright abrupt, as if the game was still building up to something and then it just stopped randomly after defeating the final boss. I think I finally understand this review. This is definitely a situation of a guy who heard some of the hype, got into it, and it didn't quite meet his expectations, particularly when it came to the ending. And honestly, if you have a bad experience right at the end, it's gonna leave a sour taste in your mouth no matter what. Once you start playing a game, if you don't like the main game loop, it's gonna feel like a chore. It's gonna feel like a lot of work, and a lot of times where I see this review come in, it's a matter of I tried my hardest to like it because everybody else does, and it just wasn't for me. At the end of the day, we play games because they're fun, and if you're not having fun, why are you doing what you're doing? Watcher Knights. Can't sex the hornet. Brown fish. No sex with Silk Song better have sex. Can't sex hornet. Can't brim. Can't sex the no bug sex. Enough horny. Wasted hours only to find out that I soft locked on a 3-year-old bug. Valid criticism. This is the game that made me realize I really don't like Metroidvanias. Retracing my steps over and over and over grows tiring. I hit a point where I couldn't figure out my next goal, wandered around for about 45 minutes trying to figure it out, and finally just quit. That makes perfect sense, and honestly, Metroidvanias, Souls-like games, are not for everyone. Delicate Flower Quest. Yeah, that's just got the Neglect achievement. Am crying and sobbing and miserable. What's the Neglect achievement? For this achievement, simply ignore Zote, essentially leaving him to die. Return to the spot later, and you will find Zote's skull on the platform. Attack it, and the achievement is unlocked. Sounds like a you problem because, in my opinion, Zote doesn't deserve any better. The big downside is the lack of save locations near bosses and other dangerous situations. Not only does this mean you have to travel quite a distance to get to the boss for another go, you also need to go there just so you can get your shadow back. Also, losing all your cash you just had because you're unable to retrieve the shadow before dying again is not a fun experience. It's a Dark Souls experience, that's just kind of how it goes. I accidentally beat my meat to Hornet's art before I bought the game. Stop it. Stop being so horny for freaking JPEGs. I can't get past the Gruz Mother boss. The Trial of Fools. Path of Pain. Too long didn't read, wikis should not be mandatory. I understand that. There are many games that we play nowadays, especially indie games, that wikis are just mandatory to get through the experience. Even worse is crafting survival games where you need the wiki to just understand basics. That said, I'm not entirely sure Hollow Knight is wiki required. My wife left me because I played this game too much. Valid. Literally the best game ever made, but it's not Garfield Kart, so negative review it is. Can I take a moment to say I hate these kind of reviews? I want to know more about the actual game, and while funny reviews are cool and all, this is just some bullshit. Zote is too hard. Mila dies, 0 out of 10, hot 10 saddest moment. I did not like this game due to the large amount of backtracking and extremely slow movement. If I play a game for more than an hour and I'm still not having fun, then that game really is not for me. Incredibly valid, and I appreciate this person recognizing that and stating it. I want people to remember that if you're playing something and you're not having fun, don't play it, especially when it's games. It's supposed to be your free time. It's supposed to be the stuff you're doing for fun. If you're not having fun, then why the f are you trying to play the game? Tangent over. Valid. I'm salty and bad at this game, but damn is the story and fuck is good. For your sanity, I don't recommend, but yeah, get it. Am I having a stroke? Guys, I did it. I think I found the most invalid review. There isn't enough Zote. There are too many bugs. Zote could solve that. Zote is too underpowered. We don't get to play as Zote. Primal Aspid's too OP. Please nerf White Palace. 0 out of 10 until they add a Zote DLC. This review's wrong. Zote, but not literally. White Palace is ridiculous. Is this a 90s arcade game? All right, I'm gonna throw it out there. Any game that labels itself like a Souls-like game, or hell, any game at all that has a pretty steep difficulty curve, just don't consider it valid criticism of the game. Unless the game is clearly targeted towards a child audience, which this game is not. So I've seen this on a couple of reviews, and level with me, guys. Should I be worried about White Palace? Not beat the game without jumping. This game gets an F for not meeting disability standards. True. 6 out of 10. Sexy atmosphere, but game is slow paced. Wouldn't that be a mostly positive review? The Soul Master is gay, so you're telling me there's a chance. I like this game, but I want Silk Song. Well, thank you very much for your review. Minecraft sex mod real. So after reading all of the negative reviews, I'm seeing a very clear trend. First, there's that group of people that got the game right as it released and experienced a lot of game-breaking bugs or freezing issues and just chose not to come back to it. Then, there's the group of people that tried out Metroidvanias for the first time or just decided to try this out and didn't like the backtracking and the constant exploration that was just required of a Metroidvania-style game. Next are the reviews that are about difficulty. The game is too difficult, and they weren't happy with it. Finally, sex request reviews. Overall, though, something that was very clear through the reviews is how much love and dedication was put into this game. People could clearly tell through the art, the music, and the deep lore that a lot of love was put into this. And even if they didn't like the game, they liked the game for what it was. And that truly is an ode to Team Cherry. And with that, I've finally decided exactly what kind of review I want to leave. This game is engaging, difficult, but fair, and is a classic that everyone should try. But if I have to talk to Zote one more time, I'm deleting the game. Would recommend post review. And that about sums it up. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. If you liked it, give it a like and let me know down in the comments below what was your favorite negative review. In the meantime, I've been Xavier, and thanks for watching.